Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming out today and joining us as we begin the next chapter in the storied history of TCC men's basketball. We are wrapping up what has been an incredible year for TCC athletics. We welcome two new head coaches, Brian Henry and Mercedes Corona, and said goodbye to two that have served the college so well during their time here in Patty Townsend and Gary Droz. It has also been a year of incredible achievement. 16 of our student athletes received all Panhandle Conference honors this year, and also 4 track and field athletes will be headed to Hobbs, New Mexico to compete at nationals in just a couple of weeks. Our baseball program finished with a 29-18 record, just one game shy of the FCSAA tournament. Our softball team had 3 wins against opponents ranked in the top 10 nationally, and of course our men's basketball team had one of the most decorated seasons in school history, including a Panhandle Conference championship, a 13-1 home record, and a run to the national semifinals in Hutchinson, Kansas. This past Thursday, we watched a group of our student athletes walk across the stage over at the Civic Center, having earned their degrees from TCC. But now it's time to turn the page and start a new chapter here for TCC men's basketball. And to do that, I'd like to introduce Director of Athletics, Chuck Moore.
Brett is a gifted speaker, isn't he? It's a great day to be an Eagle today. And you heard all the success we've had this year, and our motto has been leave a legacy. And that we've preached that to our student athletes, our coaches, day in and day out to figure out what are they going to do to leave a legacy, not only on just TCC's campus, but in this world with their friends and people like that. And part of my direction as athletic director is to make sure I'm bringing in the people that can continue that legacy, to build upon our student athletes. And it's an honor today to be able to bring a new team member, a new family member, or I should say family members, because we're bringing 2 more, along with multiple family members of his that are sitting over here on the front row. And when you look for coaches, well, when I look for coaches, there's a fit. Everybody uses that word very generically. But that fit has to be in multiple ways. They have to understand what my vision is, what my goals are each and every day. And every coach that I've hired so far fits that mold to a T without any questions asked. And you heard the success. You've heard what Brett said about what we're doing in our other programs. But right now we're looking at how to hang banners, how to have student athletes that graduate that have tassels, but actually have celebrations where they're excited about their student athlete experience. That's the vision that I look for. That's the vision I'm building here, and every coach understands that so far. And when I was going about this nationwide search, that was what I was looking for. I was looking for somebody that understood it without me having to tell them. They basically had to tell me their visions, not what I was looking for. So typically when somebody would ask me a question, well, what are you looking for? I flip the script on them. I want to hear what they're looking for. I want to hear what they're capable of doing, what their vision is. And as you'll see, once our next head coach comes up here, you'll understand why he is the right fit, why he understands, why his goals align with what I'm looking for. And all the way back to when you open up a job like this, it was pretty cutthroat. My phone was blowing up immediately. But the unique thing about Corey was the first text I got from him was, hey, let you know I'd be interested in a position when it opens up. And I get those texts. I've been getting those text messages and calls from coaches since the day I stepped foot on campus. We all knew Rick Cabrera was going to leave. We all knew he was going to get a D1 job at some point. So those text messages were just kind of things, and guys would say it. I just kind of blew them off like, okay. But when Corey did it, I immediately sent him a text back. I said, you know me well enough. If you want this job, you better pick the phone up and call me. And I was kind of probably a little mean about it, but I had not seen on HoopDirt yet that HoopDirt is a website that tracks all the coaches, and it had already leaked out that Rick was in the running for the Northwestern job. I hadn't even seen it yet. And literally, when Corey texted that, I was like, okay. And I chimed back at him. About an hour later, Rick comes into my office and says, because Rick and I had that understanding, if he was in the running, we would have that discussion. And so I knew that was what I call a God wink. Corey was ahead of the curveball of every single body else in this United States that wanted this job. That first little tidbit showed who he is and how he knows how to approach me. The second one was I had a colleague that I had the utmost respect for call me about another candidate. And he's talking to me, he's trying to sell me on this guy. And I said to him, I was like, do you know that Corey's going after this job? He stopped dead in his tracks, dead in the conversation, said, all right, Chuck, forget everything I just said. Corey's your guy. And Corey knows me well enough to know that that was one of those things that he didn't need people to call me. He didn't need the text messages. I didn't need the emails from every coach that he knows. He knows that I will hire somebody based on my relationship and my trust in them. And that shows kind of how he is. And I wanted a coach that comes from winning programs. He's 122-48 as either the lead assistant coach or the associate head coach, which is what he just left the role at Pembroke. They were 53-8 with him as the lead, as the associate head coach, which is, those of y'all that don't know, that's basically the head coach that just doesn't do the actual getting your throat cut when things go bad. They won 2 regular season championships, 2 trips to the national tournament, exact in line with what we're seeking. He was 21-10 in his last season as a head coach at USC Salkehatchie, which is where we met each other, which I will always go to the grave. I will always be 1-0 against him. So, but as he was a rookie coach, so I'll blame it on being a little bit more seasoned than him. But we did have a cutthroat battle, and it'll always go down. He remembers more of the details than I do, but that game alone showed me as a young coach the poise he had, how he treated his players, how he coached in the game, and he's only gotten better. And that integrity and that loyalness is what I seek in every single coach. And the loyalness goes all the way as deep as when I was searching for jobs, Corey was in there trying to help me. He was making calls, checking on me. What was going to happen? This job is open. And when you look at a team, you got to look at also his wife. Yes, Caroline, you helped Corey get this job. Because they come as a team. They're going to represent us as a school, but also in the community. And that was important to me, to have a coach that obviously has a teammate that's going to be in the bleachers, that's going to be out in the community building what we're trying to continue to build, because we already have the tradition. Now we just need to do a little bit more to keep this going. And so it's my honor to stand here to be able to name our next head men's basketball coach, and that's Corey Hendren.
Thanks, Chuck. It means a lot coming from someone who I have the utmost respect for as a person, as a athletic director, and then obviously a lot of people don't know his coaching background, but there's a reason he won a national championship. I want to start off just by saying thank you to Chuck Moore, Dr. Rowland, and Dr. Murdaugh for the opportunity to lead Tallahassee Community College men's basketball program. I also want to thank my wife, Caroline, my family, and all my friends for support along the way. We know that all these good things that come in life is not done alone. You have people that help you get there, and I could list off hundreds of people that have helped me get there, but I just want to thank all those people for everything they've done to help me get to a position like this. My wife and I are humbled and excited to join the TCC family. This is a special place, and it's a privilege to join such a great institution. There's so many great things happening on campus and within the Tallahassee community, and that was one of the big draws for Caroline and I when we were going through this process. At first, there's alignment between administration from the top down, and I think that's one of the biggest things for a successful athletic program, but individual programs, is that alignment that you could have. And when you have that alignment with the president, with the academic side, and with the athletic director and our athletic administration, it gives us a chance to not only be successful on the court, but to help our student athletes reach their dreams. The second thing that really drew us here is the campus support. When I walked around campus for the first time, people were introducing themselves. They're excited to come to work. And I've seen the good and the bad at different universities I've worked at, and you could tell when people are faking it. And it wasn't fake. It was a legitimate energy on campus. And then the third thing, the community support. First time we came down, there's people, they don't know who Carolina or myself is. They're introducing themselves. I told them what we're doing down here, and singing the praises of Tallahassee Community College, the men's basketball program, the athletics, and this people I don't even know. We come down here this week and people are already inviting us into their homes to spend time, and that's something that's just unique and that we're excited to be a part of. There's a rich tradition. They just mentioned coming off a Final Four year, hanging banners. What Coach Cabrera and his staff did the past 2 years is incredible. And it starts with they recruited high-character student athletes, and that's what we want to do. We want to build off that momentum and continue that success and hopefully even go further. As a coach, my approach will always start with relationship-based and process-driven. For me, whether it's recruiting, whether it's working alongside people on campus, it starts with the relationship. If we have strong relationships, we're going to work together and we'll all want to succeed. Number two for us is going to be the foundation of our program. And we really want to talk about three things when we recruit players, whether it's our identity within our staff. We want to be team above self, which means we don't put others above yourself, and use your talents to serve others. We have a great opportunity here as coaches and as players to serve this campus and this community, and that's going to be step one for us. Number two is relentless effort. We want to fully embrace everything we do. So we don't want to be lukewarm. You either want to be hot or cold. We want to be fully embrace the process and everything we do. Then number three, the area we'll talk about with our players and our staff is mental toughness. And to me, that's about resilience and grit. How do you respond to adversity? How will we approach those tough situations? And then for each, Chuck talked about his goals, and this is where our alignment comes in. And this was not something that was planned before I got the job, but for each player I coach and each student athlete we recruit, we tell them we have three main goals for them on top of their individual goals. That's we want them to graduate, we want them to develop, and when we talk about development, that's not just on the court. We want them to develop as a human being, as a student. We want them to leave here better. Then number three, we want them to have a championship experience. And part of that experience is winning games, but that championship experience is how we treat those players, how we interact with them, how they interact with other people on campus. We want them to leave Tallahassee Community College knowing that they loved their 2 years here, or maybe it's 3 for some student athletes, but we want them to be able to tell everyone about how great their experience was. This is an exciting time for TCC athletics and our men's basketball program. There's a visible energy within the athletic department. I am looking forward to contributing to the culture that is already in place, and we're just excited to get started. Go Eagles.
Once again, just want to thank everybody for coming out today. It's a really exciting day for TCC and for TCC men's basketball. For the media in attendance, Coach Hendren will be available for questions off to the side when we wrap up here. Also, we've got refreshments, so feel free to make your way on over to that table, and there's some great food from Seven Hills Catering. And also, I'm sure Coach will be around to answer any questions or just shake some hands and get to know you guys a little bit more. So thank you guys again for coming out.